Hello, welcome to Geek Warning, the cycling tech-focused podcast from Escape Collective. I'm Dave Rome, once again joined by Ronan McLaughlin. How you doing?
As per usual, yeah. Pretty good this morning, yeah.
Yeah? You been out on the bike? You're in kit?
No, school commute, school run on the tandem.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Old cycling tips
very good.
hat.
Ah, yes. With the Luft, when it's in the Luft position.
I was trying to explain to Sophia how to properly wear a casquette. That's the bit of Luft and there's to be a bit of air at the top. And she was like, just wear your hat, Daddy.
Visor up, visor down. What are you instructing the young ones?
See, that's what she was asking about. Why have you got your peak up? And I was like, well, because I have it down when it's raining or bright sunshine. But right now there's neither, so I have it up so I can see more. She's like, okay. I like it down.
What do you think's more aero?
Backwards cap.
Depends on the head position.
Yeah, and with the rick.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Backwards. It's like a fairing at the back, or a spoiler at the back.
Yeah, sure. Lets you ride every hill in your 5311.
The downforce helps keep your head upright.
Yeah, right. Fair. Very good. Very good. Yeah, I mean, you asked how I am. I'm well. I'm not at home.
No, you're not.
I've been traveling this week, which is pretty exciting. This is actually weird for me to admit, and I don't know if I should admit it, but this is actually my first international trip for the year, which makes me, one, admit that I'm somewhat failing as a tech journalist at my job, that I'm not seeing the world, but two, I'm actually kind of a little bit proud of it, and it's a rare thing that a tech journalist can claim that. So it's good.
I hadn't really thought about it until you brought it up, and yeah, you've brought that up a few times. I don't know if it's that. I think a lot of people will be quite happy to hear that you're not traveling as much. Yeah. Like you're not needlessly traveling, I think is the important part there.
I feel good about it. Yeah, I've had a lot of parts shipped my way that they could have shipped me to, and I think it's a better balance, and yeah, more lets me spend more time with my tools, which is nice.
Yeah, tell us where are you then?
Oh yeah, first, okay, where am I? I'm in Taichung, Taiwan, and yeah, I'm here for a giant event. They've already won a world championship with the bike. It's a giant anthem, and turns out it's a big launch for them, and so they've flown myself and a bunch of other media here. It's almost a repeat of last year's TCR launch, which James Huang attended for Escape back then, and yeah, but basically now it's for the mountain bike media, and they're showing us sort of how these bikes are made and the kind of novel new processes involved in it. So I can't give away too much, but if you were to read the previous coverage of the TCR Advanced SL and the factory tour on Escape, you might get a clue or two of what's going on. So yeah, I'll probably leave it at that before I get into trouble.
James is there again.
Yeah, no, James is here. It's been good to see him. I hadn't seen him for a couple of years in person, so yeah, I had dinner last night. And it's been good.
I don't know, obviously not my space, but this feels like sort of bucking the trend for, like, we get these types of launches and trips and hullabaloo about new road platforms all the time, but I don't recall something this big for a mountain bike platform in the time that I've been doing this job. And like, I know mountain bike has been, as a market segment, has been struggling of late. Is that related or unrelated, or what do you think?
Decimated by e-bikes. Yeah, I think I would say it feels larger than what I would have expected, but then like Brian Park from Pink Bike and James last night were telling me that's not the case, and that it's kind of normal size. So I don't know what to believe in life anymore.
I'm assuming there's a bit of an elephant in the room there, and that you're there at the same time as these forced labour issues that Giant has run into have cropped up. And yeah, we've reported on that on Escape Collective. Have they addressed that at all in the time that you've been there so far?
Just terms of me being able to leave the country, I'm not allowed to discuss it. No, actually, they've actually been very open about it. So, sorry, that was a poor time joke. I apologize. But no, they're being incredibly open about it. And we actually had the CEO of Giant, Phoebe Liu, get up on stage and actually address it openly. And yeah, I mean, it was very similar to a statement that Giant had released last week, which basically announced that she herself had flown over to Washington, D.C. to have these discussions, and that it's ongoing, and they're basically doing everything they can to move forward and to rectify any issues that were raised. But yeah, I mean, I can't say I know necessarily enough about the scenario or situation. We have been reporting on it as it's developed, but I mean, what I do know about it is that Giant is far from the only Taiwanese company that was implicated in that original report from that investigative journalism report. And yeah, to me, it's. I mean, I just find it a bit odd that of all the companies that were implicated, there is only one brand that's been halted at port. And even, Giant is a very large OE producer, and there's other bikes being imported as we speak that are manufactured by Giant that also aren't being stopped. So perhaps I'll leave it there before I get myself into hot water over things I don't know about. But yeah, anyway, I think there's always more to the story. It is a developing story, but yeah, Giants aren't hiding the fact that this is ongoing. I would say I'm not the right person to speak on that. I would say probably Suvi Loppinen on our team is the one that's been most up to speed with that. Maybe Joe Lindsay as well. They've been the ones that have been really investigating that story. So yeah, I mean, for anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about or wants to get up to speed on it, I'd encourage you to jump on our website and sort of look that up. Forced labor issues on our search function and see what we're talking about. But touchy subject, I guess. And so yeah, I probably shouldn't speak more on it, given I don't know really what I'm talking about here.
Well, it is, I guess, it's sort of ongoing also, so a developing story that we will continue to cover.
For sure. Do you want to hear a bit about my experience of the factory today?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, it's no,
I do. Yeah.
Let me bring up a few facts, because like I hadn't been to Giant before. I had an idea. I'd previously worked at Giant retailers, and it's a brand that's been around in my cycling life from the beginning. And but yeah, I didn't quite realize some of the elements or the scale. So I mean, we went to what's called GTM, which is like their flagship manufacturing facility. It's like their original home, but these days it basically is home to like their high-end bikes. And yeah, Giant as a company, nine factories worldwide, but I believe, and I hope I'm not butchering these stats, but they're basically producing 1 million bikes out of this one factory. And 70% of that would have Giant on it, and the other 30% would have other brands on it. Yeah, it's a big facility. They're doing aluminium and carbon fiber. But yeah, all we saw was the carbon fiber, and at one point they'd walked us through sort of like the middle aisle between these two big parts of this sprawling factory, and you could see all like the raw aluminium tubing and all that was sort of sitting waiting to be moved on to the next stage. So we saw basically everything from like the raw toes being woven into pre-preg, which is then cut up. We saw those stages. We saw like the layering of like the frames that we were riding basically. But then they sort of skip past a lot of like the molding processes. They skip past the finishing. They skip past the paint. And then we basically ended up in like the assembly room where there was like an assembly line.
Skip past them because that's top secret, or skip past them just because it wasn't part of the tour?
From what I can tell, that we being there was quite a disruption to their business. They basically like halted.
I mean, come on, they're making 1 million bikes per year and they couldn't give up an hour to bring you it. Come on.
Yeah, so they basically, from what I can tell, like I don't believe that they'd normally just have one model of bike on the production line, and that's basically what they did. They showed us their testing facilities, like their ISO testing facilities, but like every jig had the new bike on it or the new components on it. And they took us to like their X-ray room, where apparently they X-ray every fork that they make, every carbon fork. And then they also do like random batch tests of other composite frames. They showed us that in the process. So, but yeah, I think it's a bit unusual to walk through the facility and there's just one bike being made. So I think it was a little bit theatrical, but there were certainly moments where we could see production was going on, and it was strict no photos, no video, no audio kind of thing. So yeah, there were moments where we'll asked very nicely not to record what we were seeing. But
I always find that so frustrating, because it's like, either show me or don't show me, but my job is to see it to tell other people. So if you're just showing me for my entertainment, then you're wasting my time.
For sure. No, I mean, they're definitely sensitive about like the processes, and like some of them are proprietary and some of them like are using machinery that they perhaps don't want to give away. And some of the processes were pretty cool. They had like a measuring lab, with like probe measurements, which were really cool. Looked pretty fancy. But yeah, I'd really love some of the robots that they had. They got some cool stuff. And like, the high-end materials that they're doing, they also had like what they call cold cutting, with like a a temperature-controlled blade that cuts through the carbon fiber. They found that like most of their frames would have that material like stamped out, but that they can get more precision with this cold cutting process. And that they used to do it with a laser, but they found like the laser kind of singes the edges and then like kind of disrupts a bit of the composite, like the resin. And so they're basically now doing it in this cold cutting process, which is incredibly slow. Like it was taking minutes to do just one frame worth of swatches. So yeah, these high end frames certainly have some hours in them.
Was that I'm assuming you're like referring to like a CMM lab, the measurement room. I've seen one at Zip back in, was that April time, I think?
Yeah.
I had imagined at the time I think I actually had taken a picture at the time, even though it was like no pictures.
Yes.
But Zip had cleared me to take one picture for you because it was just like a giant vernier caliper. It was like, come on, I have to send Dave this picture.
Cool. Yeah. No, this is like just a robotic arm with like a really precise glass probe on it.
No, that was the same.
Going around, touching like figuring out the squareness and all like the corners and radiuses and everything. It was very cool, like as a post-process checkpoint.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I didn't know, Giant claimed to be the world's largest manufacturer of composite rims.
Okay.
They didn't give any numbers, but the section for wheel manufacturing, like for rim manufacturing, was enormous. And there were some signs that amongst the language barrier did clearly say hook and hookless. And as you know, like Giant predominantly only make hookless wheels for themselves. So
under the KDX brand.
Dare I say that there? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. No, isn't the KDX brand also hookless?
No, that's what I mean. Like under the KDX brand as well. They have Giant labeled wheels, but they also have KDX branded wheels.
Yeah. No, but I think there's other brands coming out of here. But So anyway, that was probably the most interesting figure stat.
You sure you didn't misread it and they just said that we are the world's giant wheel manufacturers?
It's very possible, but no. Their wheel layup lab was pretty cool actually. No photos allowed in that one, but they had some really, really interesting.
Did you? I mean, the question we're all wondering is: did you see any other recognizable brand names?
They did very well hiding it this year. I think there were some dramas last year where some journalists had photographed boxes going out that did not say Giant on them.
Mm-hmm.
They've asked us very nicely not to share the names of any brands that we may or may not have seen, but yeah, I mean, there were some recognizable things that weren't Giant that you could spot if you looked very closely.
Like that, it's always been a bit of a laughing or a joke or something that Giant makes for such and such a brand. But like, I mean, we talk about all these different brands as manufacturers, but actually they're not them all. Giant is a manufacturer, but most of them are just brands. And they have to get somebody to do the manufacturing.
To make the thing.
Yeah.
So from what I saw, like Giant definitely proved themselves as being like a very high-end manufacturer in what I saw. And yeah, I mean, who knows what the other factories look like, but this particular flagship factory was definitely very clean. The machinery was very impressive. Everywhere you looked was just an insane amount of infrastructure. But yeah, it's pretty well documented. Like, I didn't see it, but like Trek is one name that Giant does manufacture some bikes for. But yeah, at the end of the day, they're a manufacturer, and it's not like a Trek is the same as a Giant. You know, Trek gives them very specific specifications to follow, and Giant makes the thing to those specifications. So to say, one that any bike out of a Giant factory is a Giant is just completely false. Yeah. Anyway, I'm probably not gonna write this up as a gallery just because I don't think anything new has come with it. So it's probably just not the best use of my time to replicate a story we did a year ago. But I would encourage anyone that is keen to see what we've spoken about to check out James's article from a year ago, which is the factory tour of Giant GTM. Related to that TCR Advanced launch. So. Ronan, should we move on to a big part of this episode, which is not you and I talking?
Yeah, you had mentioned this was going to be a slightly different episode, and then I'd interrupted you. So do you want to explain what is going to be different?
Yeah, Wade Wallace, our Escape CEO, he's been doing the Gravel Burn event in South Africa, which is a new gravel stage race organized by the original creators of like the Cape Epic, and this is the inaugural event. And yeah, he's been participating in that. I think he might have finished 5th in his age group. But yeah, so Wade sat down with Normatec boots on and chatted with sorry, and chatted with occasional escape contributor and gravel racer, ultra endurance racer Kevin Bekenstein. Benke actually went on to win his age category, which I think is 35 to 39, maybe.
Yeah, I think we figured out one time that he was junior a year before I was, so he's like, yeah, he'll still be 35 to 39, I think.
I think you might have done a road race or two in the past together.
We did this. We figured out we did the same races, different years.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay, yeah. So he's a bit of a legend of the South African scene, but also of the ultra scene. He's done a lot of events around the world, and yeah, I mean this one's a bit shorter than what he's used to. But Wade sat down with him and chatted about equipment of the race and gear selection, and why I was right about Wade's poor choice of bottle cages. So which I was very amused to hear. Yeah. So anyway, I think we should throw to that interview, and we'll be back after that. It's a good one.
I am here at the Ned Bake Gravel Burn at Shamwari Nature Reserve. Game Reserve. This incredible game park. We saw a giraffe today. We saw zebras, and it's a 7-day gravel race. And I'm here with Kevin Bekenstein. Benke, as most people know you. Benke rides. Benke won the 35 to 39 age category, 2 stage wins, 2nd in amateurs. This guy knows his tech and knows how to ride it. Benke, how's it going?
Yeah, really good. Really happy. Had a great week. Loved the vibe, loved the racing, loved the riding. Camps were fantastic. So yeah, just lots of stoke right now.
We're going to talk tech today. And give us a setup. Where are we right now? What are we doing? This is the weirdest podcast I've ever done, but maybe the most enjoyable as well.
Definitely. We are sitting in the Normatec recovery zone. We've got our Normatec boots on. So
they're pulsating, pushing the blood up.
We look like I don't know what. Something interesting.
Yeah. We do have a photo of this. We'll put that on Instagram. But yeah, the moon boots is kind of what I'm calling them.
Yeah, that's the best description.
That's the best term. You guys have probably all seen them before. And this is like just, I don't know, great for recovery, it seems.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. I've done them every day, I think.
Yeah, me too.
I even did my arms the one day.
You did your arms?
Yeah, because my arms were tired the one day. But yeah, they're fantastic. I've really enjoyed it.
Well, Bryce, the guy riding the Bowhead wheelchair bike, fantastic. This guy rode all 7 stages. He had an accident a couple years ago, and he's riding a Bowhead. I've done a podcast on the Bowheads before, and I saw him with them on his arms the other day.
I don't even want to know what his arms feel like because it's hard enough with legs.
Yeah, good on him. So many people here, inspiring stories and stuff. But what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about tech because there is so much interesting tech here in terms of gravel and so many different setups. Maybe we'll start, Benke, by telling us, what did you ride? What did you choose? And maybe give us the conditions first and why you chose based on the conditions.
So I've been fortunate to spend a lot of time riding in the Karoo and really the general race routes from the first couple of days. So I had an idea that it would likely be occasionally washboard. I knew the first stage was lots of climbing, but then after that, really rolling roads more than huge mountains. Mm-hmm. Lots of corrugations, occasional sand, and then high-speed descents too. Yeah. Because the wind blows. So, I mean, we're often descending on gravel roads at 65, 70 k's an hour. So I wanted a bike that gave me some security, minimized the chance of punctures, reduced fatigue as much as possible, and just gave me a good chance to get through the week comfortably. I think that's the best way to enjoy it, is when you're comfortable, you enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And so I chose a Santa Cruz Stigmata. I rode with a Fox 32 TC gravel suspension fork with 40 mils of travel. I alternated between 45 mil tires and a 2.1/2.25.
You changed mid-race?
Yes, so I did a 45 mil tires for the first 2 stages, and then I rode 2.1s for the next 2 stages. And then on stage 5, which was a mountaintop finish, and also had a lot of tarmac, 70k of tarmac.
Yeah.
I rode 45 mils again.
Yeah, right.
And then on the last 2 stages, I rode a 2.1 on the back and a 2.25 on the front.
Gosh,
so,
you really took this seriously.
Yeah, I did. Well, I took advantage of the service package. I got my money's worth.
Okay, you just
Yeah, and I knew that from a racing perspective, not puncturing was one of the best ways to not lose time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I made up time riding, but I didn't lose time through mechanicals. And
that's where I found how you would move up on GC is not because you're making time on people. At least for me, it was other people puncturing or getting mechanicals and going 2 hours down.
Oh, massively. I didn't have one mechanical the entire race.
Really?
Which only in what became our racing group of, say, 10 to 12 people who were sort of consistently at the front. 2 of us didn't have any punctures. So yeah, I think that made a massive difference. And I just feel totally different in my upper body than I think I would have otherwise. And it also allowed me to ride with riders who I consider to have better skills than me on really technical descents at times. So yeah, I love the setup. I had one by I think 95% of the field, and that was great.
You rode a mullet too, didn't you?
Yeah, I rode a mullet.
Meaning, explain what that means.
Yeah, so I had a 46 tooth chainring up front, and then a mountain bike cassette at the back. So I had a 1052 SRAM Axis setup. I did actually check. I didn't use the 52 all that much, but every day that I used it, my average power in the 52 tooth was over 400 watts.
Yeah, wow.
So when you used it, you really needed it because you were on the power going up really steep climbs at times.
Yeah.
And so I probably spent less than 10 minutes in that 52 tooth the whole week. But when I used it, I needed it. And I think that, in my experience, that saves your legs so that you can keep your momentum going. And it means you have a more manageable
for
cadence.
People who can't see this, is you're a fairly big guy for a bike racer too. So when it gets really steep, it's hard to generate that power with such a low cadence unless you have a nice big gear like that.
Yeah, so I'm 6'4" and 82, 83 kilos. Yeah. So not a natural born climber.
And not an ounce of fat on you either.
A couple.
And so the one thing that I was never all that convinced by that I did find this week is that, tire pressure. And I was running 18 on the front with a 50 mil tire. Didn't ding the rim once. I had inserts in, and I did get a puncture today in the back. That was from a rock cut, but the lower pressure just made all the difference in the world. And if I was to do this again, you wrote a piece for us for a couple months ago about how you've changed your mind on suspension, and I've changed my mind on suspension with gravel bikes now too. Not after reading your piece, but now to see it, I believe it.
Yeah, I think that's the real key, is that when you experience more diverse gravel, I think that's when gravel suspension makes more and more sense to riders. And I saw quite a few people with suspension forks on their bikes. A notable one being Chad Hager, who is as well known to roadies as he would be to gravel enthusiasts. But he had a Fox 32 TC as well, and I spoke to him about it. And he just said he can't imagine having done this week without it. And that he'd got a lot of comments in the bunch that other guys had wished that they'd had one as well.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that the gravel was unrideable without a suspension fork. I mean, 95% of the field didn't have one.
Yeah.
But it just made it that much easier and reduced fatigue that much more. And, I mean, in my category, the guy who was second also had a suspension fork.
Right.
Peter Sherman, and I think that both of us occasionally would look at each other and go, really glad we got these.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I didn't lock it out once on gravel the whole week. The only time I locked the fork was on sealed tar roads.
Okay.
So when I was climbing up the mountaintop finish, which was 5Ks at 10 to 12%, or descending, or on flat roads, or on smooth roads. I never found the need to lock it out. So, yeah, just a super useful piece of equipment, and I'm 100% certain that it improved my performance this week.
Yeah. Tell me about, do you think a race like this, which Kevin Bekenstein, the founder of Cape Epic, and then this, just by his track record, this has been an instant hit, and I feel like this is going to be the Tour de France of gravel racing sometime. Do you think an event like this is going to change how bikes are designed because of the terrain that this goes over? Or is that too far of a stretch?
No, I think it might give bike designers the freedom to push boundaries. I think that we've seen with the Trek Checkout and gravel suspension in general, true suspension, that designers want to push that boundary, but there needs to be some economic case for it at the same time. And so this might create that impetus of potential customers, maybe demands from pro riders that lead to bikes improving for general riders. And I know for certain that the Cape Epic changed how mountain bikes were designed and what was required from not just bikes, but tires, group sets, all of those things.
Lubes were designed just for it.
Exactly. And I think this race might provide some impetus to some of the brands to go, okay, our riders now see the reason for it. Our customers see the reason for it. Now we have the impetus to move forward with concepts that might otherwise not see fruition. I mean, if you compare this terrain to European gravel, it's not even the same sport.
Yeah.
But this is a legitimate form of gravel, and I had a lovely week on my bike, and I think most riders would benefit from improved comfort and capability in their bikes, and we'll hopefully see bike companies move forward with that.
You said you were talking to some bike designers and people with insights in the industry and that this week. What kind of things have you learned?
I think it opened their eyes. I think specifically a brand that was here in force was Pinarello.
Yeah,
they brought a whole
bunch.
Yeah, they brought a whole bunch of their dealers out to the race.
Oh, is that what they were, dealers?
And credit to them, because they, knowing some of the guys, they did that to show their dealers what gravel really is, and not just what it is in their small corner, which is also relevant, of course, but just to open their eyes a little bit. And even some of the guys from Pinarello, the parent company, suddenly said, well, we see why the Gravel, which is their, so we say, more capable gravel bike, makes more sense in these conditions than the Dogma GR, which is what Tom Pidcock's been riding. And he has the skills to handle it and doesn't need the big tires, but not all riders are like that. So yeah, it was interesting chatting to them and just seeing that their eyes have been opened and they are taking design concepts back with them that they can work on based on what they experienced this week. And again, that's just going to make bikes more capable, better, more versatile. And I think that's my sort of key point, is that bikes don't have to have suspension. They don't have to have 2.1 tires. But if they can swap that in easily without stress for the riders, without needs for a new bike fit or different stem lengths or changing saddle position, that just makes a better user experience and allows riders to tune bikes to their own needs, as opposed to the needs of a bike designer sitting in a small corner of the world, potentially on very different terrain than their future customers.
Yeah, this is different terrain than I've ever experienced, and I'm a bit of a tech Luddite, right? Like, I'd be riding 23 mil tires if no one told me that anything else was better. But now I see why these bikes are starting to look more like mountain bikes. And I'm all for it now. Like because I am wrecked, and I had a great bike, right? My bike it was fantastic. I cannot believe this thing's stuck together. I rode a Factor Austro Gravel. It was fantastic. But I would, if I was to do it again, suspension 100%, thicker tires 100%, 2.1s easily if I could. So what other trends have you kind of seen when you've kind of walked up and down the bikes, and what have you seen that's interesting? What have you seen that maybe from the winners that have in common?
It's hard with the pros because they are definitely restricted by their sponsored products.
Yeah.
So Matt Beers, who won, he might have wanted to make some different decisions, but had to choose equipment based on what is available from Specialized. So he was on the Crux, not the Diverge.
Yeah.
Which is interesting in and of itself.
Yeah.
He did ride 50 mil tires a lot of the time, and so did the rest of his team. I don't remember him putting a wider tire on the front. A 2.2 does fit in the Crux, but unofficially. But when you look through the pro field, almost every rider who could fit mountain bike tires on their bike fitted mountain bike tires on their bike. And mountain bike tires is maybe the wrong term. They low volume mountain bike tires.
Yeah.
They're not 2.4s.
Yeah.
I was looking at Payson McAlvin's bike. He's got what's almost like a road size chainring. For most people, a 48 tooth on the front, and then he's got the mullet out back and the 2.25 Aspens.
Yeah.
And most of the Maxxis guys did see some Maxxis 2.1 Reavers, 2.9 Aspen STs, which is a prototype tire floating around. So that's good to see, which means, again, the tire brands are going, we need these low volume mountain bike tires, not just the 2.4s.
And how about like tread pattern? What have you noticed there? What did most people ride this
generally
week?
Fast rolling.
Yeah.
I must say, I didn't see a whole bunch of excessively grippy tires amongst the pros. Schwalbe were Thunderbirds or G1 RS.
I used the Vittoria T50s that you recommended. They were fantastic.
Quite a few Vittoria T50s.
Yeah.
Which is sort of a mid-range like tread. It's not a
little bit on the side, smooth.
A little bit on the side, sort of smooth on the front, but not full slick.
Yeah.
Lots of Maxxis Reavers. Loads of them. Specialized Tracer, another very popular tire.
From what you could tell, do you see a lot of people using inserts?
Almost.
Did you?
I used inserts on whether I rode 45s or 2.1s.
Yeah.
I can't imagine riding without them. I think pretty much everyone in our group had inserts. They just provide safety, and I mean, when punctures are sort of part and parcel of what's going to happen, and in gravel, like realistically, you're going to have a puncture at some point.
Yeah.
We passed the days where you used to have to carry 3 tubes on a ride, but punctures happen on all types of gravel and is more likely on gravel. So inserts just allow you to keep riding a little bit longer. I know guys who rode the last 4 or 5 Ks of a stage just on their inserts because they couldn't be bothered to plug it.
Yeah.
And they still had a little bit of pressure on their tires. So I
did today. I rode 10K to the feed zone with just the inserts. I wouldn't have thought of using inserts until you recommended them earlier too.
Yeah, and so they just provide almost the safety that like an old gluing a tubular used to provide.
And you don't trash your rims. The amount of rims that broke this week.
Wrecked. Guys would puncture on a descent.
I'd say hundreds.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. It was a great week to be selling wheels in the Karoo.
But and brake pads.
Yeah, and brake pads. So, yeah, for me, inserts are non-negotiable. I can't imagine riding without them.
Yeah.
Literally, unless I'm testing a tire for one day, I never ride without them.
And they're feather light. I don't know what people would worry about with weight.
I think it's
worth a trade-off.
Less than 100 grams.
Yeah.
It's really not a big deal. So, and I mean, I've got a set of inserts that I've had in since before Unbound 2023.
Oh, really?
So they're 2.5 years old, and I weighed them the other day. They're a whole 10 grams heavier, and that's mostly because of the sealant that's just
sealant
like
stuck
onto it. It's not even sucked in; it's just stuck to the outside. So if I took some time, I could peel that off. So yeah, I think it's not even a question anymore. It's just the right thing to do.
Yeah. What else have you learned about tech or noticed here?
I think one bar is almost exclusive now.
Yeah, unanimous, yeah.
Like 2 bar I would almost say it's a sponsored rider problem. Very, very few 2x setups. 12-speed. I think there was a lot of like the SRAM Explore group set, but most people who I spoke to who were riding Explore said they would have preferred to have had the full mallet, the 1052 at the back.
I know I would have. Although just the cost and the hassle of doing it is just not within my everyday semi-care type of attitude.
I agree. I think having 2 group sets or 2 rear ends, I guess, is unrealistic for most people.
Yeah.
And so if this is the only time you need it in a year, it's probably not worth it. But I think if you live in a hillier area, especially with like consistent, let's say, what I would call a teenage gradient, I would say then it doesn't make sense unless you're extremely strong to have the Explore group set. It's nice having slightly smaller gear jumps at the bottom, but at the top of the cassette, they're more or less the same anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, I certainly prefer having the full 1052 on the back, and it allows me to run a slightly bigger front chainring, which keeps me in the middle of the cassette more. So there's all of that performance-focused chainline stuff. But at the end of the day, having the gear that gets you up the climb, for most people, it's more enjoyable being able to use an easier gear than
just grinding along
and
60 RPM.
destroying knees.
Yeah.
Like that's not worth it. I think the other thing that I saw a lot that maybe needs more focus from riders is bottle cages.
Oh,
because
gosh.
the amount of bottles I saw drop. I mean,
Yeah.
I earned myself some favors because I always carry a third bottle, and I did loan it out.
You always carry New Jersey, eh?
Yeah, I always carry it in my back pocket.
Yeah.
And
Well, even me, I everyone made fun of my bike, my brand new bike that I put aluminum cages on.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, I do that because I can reef them tight. And I lost 2 bottles this week, so I'm a little bit embarrassed about that.
Yeah, so I must say, I was super happy with my cages. I actually changed them. I had side loaders on before, but I find those are more likely to drop a bottle because the bottle can shake out sideways.
Yeah.
And then it sort of pops out quicker, where a top loader cage, a traditional bottle cage, at least the bottle starts bouncing up and you can push it down if you need to.
Did you do anything to yours to modify it to make it sticky?
I had zero modifications. Just made sure my bottles that I was using fitted the cage as well.
Yeah.
So that, the hook on the back of the cage actually gripped into the bottle, because bottle cages are designed, especially because these days, like if you take Tax, they make bottles as well.
Yeah.
So Tax bottles with Tax cages make sense, and
okay.
Conveniently that's what I had, and then I suppose Elite bottles with Elite cages. Obviously, Arundel, for a long time I used Arundel stainless steel cages, and what I loved about those was you could sort of make them fit the bottle.
Yeah.
Because it was steel, you could just bend it.
Yeah.
Bigger, smaller, whatever you needed. But even on, what is, I think, are considered some really secure cages, like the Silco cages, I did see bottles just fly out. So I think guys need to pay, and girls need to pay more attention to how their bottle fits and making sure that they're not going to lose bottles, because losing 750 mils of water on a hot day, it's a big deal, right?
Oh, I did yesterday when it was 37 at that point.
Yeah.
Before it hailed.
Yeah. What did we have yesterday? We had 70k an hour winds.
Yeah.
40-degree heat.
Yeah.
Hail. Lightning. Thunder. I had lightning.
Saw drafts.
Yeah. Saw giraffes.
That's new to me.
We had lightning strike like maybe a kilometer from us. Just committed to getting home as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But so I think it's the small details that matter. I mean, like one thing I did
agree.
on my bike, I don't like a full double wrap of bar tape, but I like it around in the drops where I actually hold in the drops, and just above the shifter lever body where my palm rests. And then I put almost like half a bar of wrap and then a full wrap over that. And that made a huge difference because I just had one little section that was a bit softer. So, I mean, I've got pretty damaged hands from ultra racing, and I had no hand issues the whole week. So I think those little things make a difference.
Did you have any satellite shifters or anything like that?
I did. I rode blips under my
The tops?
the tops.
Yep.
So almost like the old school climber shifter location.
Yeah.
And what was super nice was over the washboard,
Yeah.
I could still shift and I could use that position when I wanted to, and then climbing. I mean, the main reason I had it, honestly, was just it's possible for a shifter battery to go dead. With electronic, as reliable as I've found electronic gears, it's not impossible for things to stop working, and I just wanted that safety shifting option. But ultimately, it really helped on the washboard when I wanted to ride on the old school Roubaix position in the middle.
That's how I'd ride too. Impossible to get to the drops if you need to shift.
Exactly. So that just gave me that little bit of extra safety, one extra shifting position. Look, blips are not the cheapest thing, but for me it was worth it. And yeah, I mean, I bought everything on my bike, so I had to make considered decisions. I didn't want to be wasting money, and I didn't want to come here and have a mechanical problem that cost me my race.
Oh yeah. Are you a wax chain guy or a lube guy?
I am a wax chain guy, and I rode wax chain on the first day, which, as you know, was absolute torrential rain.
It was comical.
It was insane, and so much mud. And it wasn't mud so much as sand.
Yeah,
because
gritty.
The area that we're riding through it used to be the ocean. So the ocean actually used to go almost 100 kilometers inland from where the ocean is now. And so it's got super rich soil in terms of minerals because of that. But it also means that a lot of what you'd say is a gravel road is actually just hard-packed sand.
It's still in my teeth, yeah.
Yeah, so exactly. But on that day, I mean, I heard so many chains going...
Oh, yeah.
And mine was smooth to the end. Unfortunately, or fortunately, there was a race-provided bike wash that involved a large amount of high-pressure hosing. And so I had a wax chain for one day. And even though I brought a spare, I actually just couldn't bring myself to put it on the bike because I knew it was a one-day wax chain.
Yeah.
And so I just left it after that. But that first day, I mean, I'm convinced that it was beneficial to me.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
My shifting was smooth to the end. I didn't have horrible noises. It was perfect. And it was a wax from Squirt, which is a very well-known, traditional sort of wax chain lube brand.
Yeah, I love Squirt.
And so it was really good. And
that's what you just used the rest of the time, Squirt. They had here at the race.
Yeah, exactly. They had Squirt at the race village and at the mechanics.
Yeah.
And at the sort of communal pump and wax station. So I just used Squirt, and I make sure I always topped it up after it had been to the bike service area in the evening, and then just made sure that dried overnight.
Yeah, yeah.
Never wax your chain 10 minutes before a ride, which is what so many people do.
Yeah, and that's me. How would you've done gravel racing in the U.S.
Yes.
What tech considerations would you make for this race versus, say, something like Unbound?
Well, last time I rode Unbound, I rode 2-bar, which I probably wouldn't do again because of the mud there.
Yeah.
I think direct mount makes a lot of sense in those conditions. But I also rode a suspension fork. I rode the same suspension fork there that I rode here.
Yeah.
So I would say that the bike I rode here would be extremely close to the bike I'd ride for Unbound. Unbound
so
also
this is
has
the quiver killer. This is the bike.
You. For me it is. I think that I'm not a pro level racer, but I'm fairly fit and strong, and I find that it reduces fatigue massively. And for me, that's the biggest performance gain there is. I mean, I spoke to Ronan before the race briefly, and he even said to me, just deep sections with a fork, and you've got the bike. Like it's the right solution for the job, especially because they're just so sensitive on those small bumps. But then the other races, I mean, I haven't done Steamboat, but that just looks like the most perfect champagne gravel. You know, I did gravel locos before, and I would probably ride a rigid fork there as well.
Yeah.
And tracker, maybe it would be a juggle on the course because some of it's super rough.
Okay.
Some of it's not. Obviously, that's in Europe.
You've done tracker before?
I've done tracker.
Okay.
I did it in the rained out year, so I never got to do the one I'd entered, but I did the tracker 360. And that was super rough from what I remember. And I was on I was actually on the Factor Ostra.
Oh.
And when I did Unbound XL, I did a Factor Ostro with a Fox 32 TC fork.
Right.
And that was fantastic. I absolutely I finished that race so strong and full of gears. I didn't know, I wasn't sore. It was great. So I was lucky because that's not a suspension corrected bike, but my setup worked on that bike with a gravel fork. But yeah, it's just great to have the option to put it in and not have to change your whole geometry.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's important to me. I think that going forward, bike designers would do very well to consider that their customers might want that extra comfort, performance, handling improvement, whatever it might be for the specific customer, and that they should make it as simple as possible for that rider to make the change regardless of what they as designers enjoy riding. And that's where I get frustrated with certain bikes that are so set and this is the way that it will be. You know, like I know a lot of people are very happy on a Diverge as an example, but the fact that you have to have the Future Shock and it's not an optional part, I think does the rest of the bike a disservice, because there are people who don't like the Future Shock, just like there are people who love the Future Shock. But now riders who want the rest of the features of the bike are stuck with a feature that maybe they don't need or want. And you could, you know, gravel has progressed massively, I think, in the past 2 years probably. You know, we've seen the big tire revolution is really the best way to put it, in America and in Europe, you know, and we saw it at this race. Loads of people on wider tires, be it 50 mil if that's what they could squeeze in, but almost everyone had maxed out their tire clearance. No one was running just whatever they could. There were very few 40 mil tires, and giving riders the option to create their perfect bike from the platform that a brand has designed is the right way, in my view. Probably won't be popular with a lot of bike designers for saying that, but I do think bikes are so expensive.
Yeah.
So expensive. Just allow us, the riders, to tune them to our needs.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I think that's really good. Our boots are going to start winding down pretty soon, and I want them never to stop, but they have batteries, and batteries do stop. So. Kevin Bekenstein, thank you very much. Congratulations on a first place in your category. And what overall did you get again? Second?
Second in amateurs.
Goodness me. Well done.
Thank you very much. It was a great week. It was great.
I got to get a bike like yours.
And it was great having you guys. Yeah, you and LB, who I met way back in COVID times.
Yeah, when we got turned around at Cape Epic.
And finally we actually got to ride together and be at the same event with each other.
Well, I see you at the event. We didn't really ride together, but
I got to ride with Albie.
Yeah, right. Albie could keep up a little ways. All right, Becky, thanks very much. Congratulations.
Cheers.
Ronan, from what you saw or didn't see of Gravel Burn, does it intrigue you to line up and put on some warming gel and hit up the Karoo?
Impossible to say, having seen absolutely none of it.
Yeah, okay. It looked like a dusty experience, but I mean, people seem to be raving about it. So
I'm going to go back to what I said a couple of weeks ago. The UCI Gravel Worlds looked like a route that would interest me in going and doing a gravel race, this year's route.
Okay.
I don't know what Gravel Burn was like. If it was similar, then yes, but I'm going to presume it wasn't.
No, it reminded me much more of Cape Epic, but with drop bars.
Oh, well, that sounds fun.
Yeah. I think it could genuinely be. I think what we're looking at is early days of like future of gravel. Here, like I think if you looked at how successful stage racing was on marathon mountain bike, I actually think there's pretty big opportunity here. And
future of gravel. So everybody was on full suspension gravel bikes with 45 mil tires, were they?
They were not. That was I mean, as Kevin mentioned, he sort of highlighted that event could lead to some changes there. But anyway, we won't rehash that. So
sounds like fun. If it's anything like Cape Epic, I'll start saving now, and I'll be able to participate in about 10 years' time.
Yeah, I would say as far as Cape Epic goes, it has become an aspirational event. So certainly no small fee to participate in one of these events with all the logistics involved and the travel. So more a bucket list for some, but
I'm a little bit far away.
Yeah. Cool. All right, well, that all said and that all done, I think it's time to get to Ask a Wrench, and we have a bit of a surprise, which is he's back. The big red van is parked for the end of the season, and that means Brad Copeland has rejoined Geek Warning and for Ask a Wrench, and so we sit down with Brad Copeland, and I mean his season with Specialized Factory Off-Road is done for 2025, and we get to ask him questions in exchange. So this week we've got some questions related to one about indoor trainer bikes, or just bikes on indoor trainers and sort of maintenance around that, and whether there's anything you can do to the trainer itself. We got a question about some front shifting woes with Shimano Mechanical, and a pretty interesting, almost fun problem that keeps creeping back in. And then, we wrap up with a question about long-term storage of mountain bikes, and particularly around suspension. So we get into all that and a little bit more. So anyway, you have to be a member of Escape Collective to listen to that. So if you're not already, then I think we say it every week, but why? Why aren't you a member yet? Head to escapecollective.com/join. It gives you access to everything we do. It lets you stop listening to these call to actions. And you get to support independent journalism as a result of all that. Anything to add, Ronan?
No, I think you've covered everything there, Dave.
Well, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I've got to run. I'm about to miss the bus, which will feed me. And we will be in touch next week. All right, members. I'll keep talking to you in a moment with Ask a Wrench. But otherwise, cheers. Thanks to Will Jones of Red Bricks Media for the editing and mixing of this episode.